Hey guys, it's me, producer Ross, and welcome back to another edition of My ITFC. And today I'm joined by a familiar face and voice in Rich from Blue Monday. How you doing, my friend? How's lockdown? And we're getting back to some normality now, sort of. I don't know, could be another lockdown, but how you been doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. And yeah, I don't know when this goes out because in like a week or two's time, things could be totally different, couldn't they?
Yeah.
But as for now, I'm okay. I've had my holiday. I had a week away, so that was good. So yeah, back at work, remotely working and all that kind of stuff. Getting used to that and trying to keep away from people coughing and sneezing like everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like most people, I grew up in the area. I wasn't born in Ipswich. My dad was, and he went in the 80s and 70s, I guess, and would chuck programs at me and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, and then yeah, so he got me into it. And your next question is going to be my first game, isn't it?
Yes.
So I can kind of go into that route if you want. And he took me to my first game, February 1992. I don't look that old, do I? I know, I do. At Liverpool in the FA Cup, which is a decent one to start with.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
The 0-0 game where it was really windy and Johnny Walker hit the bar with a header, I think, from a corner, I think. We dominated that game and should have won it. But that was it, and I was hooked. And yeah, I didn't go to too many games after that. It was kind of a trickle. And then through the 90s, as I grew up, it was kind of, you know, about 5 to 10 matches a season, then a half season ticket, then a full season ticket. And now I'm going and I can't stop, unfortunately.
Can you, how old were you then? Sorry to get your age.
Yeah, so, God, how old? I think 9, I think I would have been. So quite old. I know some people take their newborn kids in, don't they, these days? Like, yeah. My dad, I think, didn't want the hassle of having an annoying little kid running around. So I went, 9, I think, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And first away game though was almost like 10 years later. I went to the Charlton game. Do you know, the promotion season 99-2000. I went on the bus with my mate, and that 3-1 Charlton win when Magilton, Johnson, Royster, I think, was the scorers, and they won the title. That was my first away day, and that was just me. But yeah, I went with my dad, and still do from time to time. He's not as keen as he was, but he's seen the glory days, so League One football isn't really the same for him.
No, definitely not.
First town player whose autograph I ever got, and then by default was my favourite player, was Craig Forrest. He came to my school and did kind of a trophy thingy, and then like signed every single like pupil's like piece of paper or whatever. And he was because the first few seasons I started going, I don't know what year it was. He was basically the last line of defence when our defence was basically a little bit too old. Like Linegan and Walk were a little bit getting on a bit slow, and then the 9-0 season happened. I think it might have been before that one. But he was a legend for us. I just remember camera save after camera save. He was great. Mickey Stockwell for a time was a favourite of mine. But my favourite player of all time, of my time watching, still is now, was Marcus Stewart. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, I can say it now, but I was a fan of Marcus Stewart's when he was at Huddersfield. I remember he used to score goals for fun for Huddersfield and always had, it was Premier Manager 98, I think I had, and he was great on that one. And then it was one of those moments that hasn't happened too often because we don't spend a huge amount of money, that he was a player that I really liked before he came to Ipswich, and I was so delighted when he signed for us, really chuffed. And then what he did for us in the season after, the 2000-2001 season, I mean, the goals he scored, the playoff goals, you know, he'll go down in town history for quite some time for kind of the more modern era. And yeah, I love Marcus Stewart. Scored every kind of goal.
Yeah. I think an obvious one is there. So George Burley, probably for you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and I was trying to give a clever answer, but I can't because, yeah, between 95, 96 and even 2000, 2001, the football we played, you just can't imagine it now. If you've grown up, apologies to anyone who's kind of bored after the Burley era because you've not seen the best of us. You can't imagine the kind of attacking play, the incisive direct play that we had with players like Venus and stuff like that. It's just different level completely, and just consistently playing it. We didn't compromise. But one manager who I think, Joe Royle, I want to stick in there as well. I wasn't a huge fan of Joe Royle's when he was appointed. I remember the Man City stuff, and that was a little bit acrimonious. But I think in hindsight now, Royal was such an underrated manager at Ipswich, particularly for the style of play stuff and how close we got given the financial circumstances. So yeah, Burley's an easy one, but I'll stick Royal in. He's a close second, I think. There's some obvious ones in there. The Bolton 5-3 playoff game. I think that was a favourite, a better game, meant more than the Wembley final. I went to the 5-0 Norwich victory, and that atmosphere that day. I was how old?
You're wearing that shirt, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly right. Good call. Yeah. Football Shirt Friday for anyone who wants to get involved. And I think that's the most, apart from a playoff game, the most fearsome atmosphere I've heard. The old North Stand, it wasn't as big as the new one, but it made much more noise. It just stayed in the ground. But the 2001 season, there were Spurs 3-0. I think on Boxing Day, we absolutely destroyed them. That could have been 6, 7, 8-0 that one, and it wouldn't have flattered us. But games like Charlton and Leicester, we won 2-0, where we basically dominated the whole match. And it took to the 80th minute for us to score, but you kind of had this inevitability that we were going to win the match. And I've just never had that kind of feeling since. You always kind of know with Ipswich, even if we're winning, we are going to screw up. We are going to concede. And when we don't, it's so much more enjoyable. But when it happens, you kind of go, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So, yeah, those are the games that I think I'd pick out. Draw with Man United as well. That 1-1 game was big too.
Now I'm going into goals. Once again, a lot of goals have been scored. Once again, it's hard to pick just one, but is there a few that just stick out? Because you do the goal machine, so I'm sure there's a few that are your favourites in there. So what's your favourite goal?
I'm cheating, aren't I? Because you're asking me for a single one, and every time I've given you about 5. Is that allowed?
Yes, allowed. I'm always happy to people to if they stick out and there's a good little memory for it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll give you 5, and then I'll pick the best one. How about that? I think the best ever goal in my lifetime watching Ipswich is Finidi's goal against Sunderland 2001, 2002. That build up, kind of one touch passing. He starts the move, one touch pass to Matt Holland. One touch flick between his legs by Marcus Bent. Finidi runs on. Perfect chip. I think that might be the best goal. It might be the best goal I've ever seen, home or away team. It's just quality of football. It's such a shame that season kind of ended the way it did. Yeah. Other goals that I want to mention, though, are less good quality goals. I mean, there are some that are decent here, but moments where you've just had a crazy celebration, like last minute winners to me are just why you go to the football. I know you've had Pablo's against Coventry, I think, in a previous show, but Royce's against Fulham, 99-2000. He came off just signed, came off the bench and ran through and scored in the last minute, and Paul Monroe went crazy. That was a great moment, and not a great goal, but favourite for the reaction. I remember absolutely screaming my head off on that one. Carlos Edwards, here's one to lob in randomly as well. Derby away, April 13. I think this is possibly, similar kind of situation to the Royce goal. But we'd been battered the whole match. They missed a penalty, and then Edwards just strides forwards and belts an absolute screamer into the bottom corner. And I just remember there were about 8 of us clustered together, going absolutely crazy. I remember falling over. I think I hurt myself a little bit, and I think that's why the goal's become their favourite, because it's the celebration and what it means rather than maybe the goal itself.
Yeah.
Certainly not this one. I mean, it's got good design features, but it's got a fleecy lining to it. And we were pinging tweets to Matt Holland, who didn't remember that it had that lining. But can you imagine August, September, and kind of April, May fixtures wearing a football shirt that's thick polyester, but has got fleecy inside it as well? I mean, that is a sweatbox waiting to happen. I've actually got it to hand if I just lean out a shot. And again, it's more sentimental. It's first ever shirt. I mean, not this exact one, but this bad boy.
Yeah.
The red laces shirt. It's my first ever shirt. Not this one, because it wouldn't fit. But yeah, that's my favourite one. And I think it's still got kind of cult status. I think it's, I think it's a bit Marmitey, I think, for some people, but for me, I absolutely love it. I can't see anything else. Adidas kits of late are okay, but I think that one's still.
What's your thoughts on this season then?
I thought the home kit's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. I really like it. I'm a big fan of the blue shorts as well. I kind of, unpopular opinion maybe, I prefer the blue shorts. I think Adidas have done all right for us. They're just a little bit boring and a bit samey at times.
They're just templates basically, aren't they?
Yeah, the away kit's all right. This season's away kit is different, albeit it's the exact same kit as, I think it's Zagreb have the same one. Dynamo Zagreb have exactly the same one, and Wolves have kind of got 3/4 of it as well. It's all right, but the white away one that Adidas did, I think it was 16, 17. I think that was an underrated kit. Yeah. But I think our away kits are generally all right. But similar ones of this era, this punch one, the green one with the burgundy stuff and the black and white stripes, they're just so thick. They're really nasty to wear and really poorly fitting. So I'll stick with the Umbro ones. My dream kit, by the way, if anyone's got one for sale, is any of the Umbro goalkeeper kits from 92 through to 95. The yellow one with the pinstripes, the kind of grey with about 1 million colours on it, or the green and blue one. That is in good nick. If anyone wants to sell me, name your price. I'm literally that keen. We've had a couple of those on Football Show Friday actually as well. Just to give that a shout if I can. Yeah. For those of you who don't have to wear a uniform to work, or want to come home and maybe having worn a uniform, every Friday I'll do a tweet out for wearing a football shirt. Ideally Ipswich Town, but the rarer ones are great actually. Yeah, of course. I think we had one from Japan today. So get involved on the hashtag. Always love to see random kits, but certainly the cult classics from Ipswich as well. So get involved. Yeah, I didn't go to the Birmingham game 2 seasons ago when we got relegated. But that whole League One season, sadly, from about I know there are other people who kind of saw that coming in pre-season, but that relegation season just hurt because of how easily we sunk. There wasn't much of a fight. Yeah. But by that time that Birmingham game happened, you kind of resign yourself. You kind of move from anger, bargaining to kind of acceptance, and I think we just end up accepting that relegation in the end. 2002, that relegation season from the Premier League, again, looking back now in hindsight, we were in a really decent position in February, March. We'd had a shocking start and then got ourselves up to something like 14th from being bottom at Christmas, and then lost to Liverpool, lost to Southampton, and then just couldn't get our mojo back. And for what has happened to the club since that relegation, that to me is like the most symbolic moment in our history of recent years of where it all went wrong. The ITV Digital collapsed and we went into administration, and Burley left, and then suddenly we had to sell all of our best players on the cheap. I think that 2000, if we'd stayed up that season, we might have, I'm not guaranteeing we'd still be there now, but we might have had 5-10 years, a little bit longer. We might have won a League Cup or an FA Cup, perhaps. That wasn't beyond the realms of possibility. And you look where we are now, and to me, 2002 is where it all started. But 05-06 was it, or 04-05? I'm trying to remember one of the playoff games against West Ham where we should have got promotion automatic. 14-15, you mentioned it as well. Yeah. We just since 2002, which is my answer. But here's the long answer. Every time we've had a chance to get back, we've just chucked it away. We've Ipswiched it up, and I'm creating that as a verb, by the way. We've had an Ipswich moment, and the Mick era, the end of the Mick era was not good as well. But 2002, Ross, that's my answer. Yeah. The Bolton playoff win, I go back to that. Great goals in that one, but 4 years of playoff heartache and thinking this is never going to happen. Get the draw, come from behind to get the point, not the point, bloody hell. The 2-2 draw at the Reebok, and then so much action in that game, and then to win it as well. That's the total un-Ipswich kind of moment for me. And as I would have been 16, I think, so a little bit couldn't celebrate it properly. But on the pitch, you've never been on the pitch at Bournemouth Road, I suspect.
Or
legitimately,
Yeah. As a photographer, yes, but as a fan, no.
Yeah, and as a fan, yeah. that's the last time I've been on the pitch in a kind of a capacity to celebrate anything. Yeah. And when you think that's almost 20 years ago, you know, it's well, it is, isn't it? Just had the anniversary of it, isn't it? So so that for me, and then the Wembley game, obviously, to win it and to go up that way is great. But that, for a single moment, you know, the season that followed it as well, fantastic. But yeah, I that was deliriously happy being an Ipswich fan for one moment. You know, that was it.
Well, Rich, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for getting involved. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I was going to do a plug, but you can find me on Twitter at Ipswich, and all the Blue Monday stuff is there. But we're on the Kings of Anglia stuff, so I'm happy to pay homage to the Kings of Anglia guys. Thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed it.